Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm trying to turn up the volume right now. So one of my subscribers, Lala323, sent me this video and asked me to talk about it. So it says, let's go back up here. I'm gonna play this video. It's pretty short, but it says, a number of interracial marriages, multiracial Americans growing rapidly. And then I'll play this video and then we'll talk about it.
Being of mixed race and in an interracial marriage comes with sometimes infuriating experiences for Delia Douglas.
Especially in the first 3 years of my daughter's life, people often would stop and ask me if I was a nanny. And there were days where that would be incredibly frustrating.
Douglas is white, African American, and Native American. Their daughter Soleil looks more like her white dad.
I think she surprised both of us. I never expected her to have golden blonde hair.
Life has not always been easy for Douglas's brother, Ronnie Nels, who shares her mixed race background.
You know, I was pulled over, I think, once a month for a year. And just asking where I was headed, what I was doing.
Pew Research finds 60.
I just want to say, like, they're leaving out the fact that he was pulled over once every month because he looks black. It has nothing to do with his interracial status. The thing that irritates me, everyone knows I have a biracial child, but the thing that irritates me about this is we're really taking away the attention from the fact that these white supremacist terrorists are singling out black people. They're pulling people over because they're black. We're dealing with the discrimination because we're black, not because we're mixed. And this whole biracial, interracial marriage thing, it's really taking away from the attention that needs to be directed towards ending white supremacist racist terrorism. That's what it's doing, and that's really damaging for our community. And so I'm really against this whole interracial movement thing. It's not something that's benefiting the black community at all. And if we think that it is, then we really need to educate ourselves. All you have to, just by watching this one little, 1 minute we got into this video, it was totally ignored at the fact that he's being racially profiled for being black by the cops. Like, there's a problem that we just skipped over.
9% of mixed-race Americans with black as part of their racial makeup say most people view them as black, and their experience is more similar to the black community. But many multiracial Americans find Los Angeles is more accepting.
And that's a very important thing to point out. The fact that these children that are multiracial backgrounds are considering themselves to be black is strictly because society is going to treat them as black. White America sees these children that if you have a black parent or you have brown skin and curly hair and you present as black or even as half black, even honestly, if you present even as a quarter, if white supremacy can smell black in you, they're going to treat you accordingly. So when people are thinking if we make all these mixed race babies that it's somehow going to end racism, it's delusional, and it's damaging not only to the child that you produce, but it is damaging to the entire black community. Because you should, instead of making black people to help fight racism, we're creating mixed race children that are confused, that are already ostracized by the white society because they're going to be treated as black. So now their whole goal is going to be to try to somehow be accepted by white supremacy and white race and white communities. So they're going to be have more they're going to be more allies towards the white race than they are towards the black race, even though they're saying that they consider themselves to be black. They're being forced to consider themselves to be black. And even the ones that just want to consider themselves to be black, they're still going to they still are halfway in the white community, so they still have to deal with the white community. They still have an allegiance to the white community because one of their parents is white. So this is not helping the black community.
Including Damona Hoffman, who is Russian Jewish and African American.
I found actually that it was where my people were, because there were so many biracial people that were suddenly in my orbit that I really hadn't seen before growing up in the Midwest.
That is why many mixed-race children attend preschools that are ethnically diverse, such as World City Center, where 30% of the students are multiracial. Vivian Arlotto, who was Korean and Belgian and married to a white American, sent her son here.
I grew up in a really homogenous neighborhood and felt like the other. So it was important for my son to be in a place where he felt normal.
Sonia Smith-Kang's husband is Korean American with immigrant parents.
Language was definitely an important part for me because I wanted them to.
The interesting thing about these videos, about this article, is you have a lot of different races that are talking about being mistreated and living in communities where they don't feel accepted. And the common denominator of this is the hatred that the white community has towards everyone. When the young man spoke up about being pulled over once a month by police, I assure you he's pulled over by white supremacist rogue terrorist cops. These Korean and Asian family, they're not being discriminated against by black people or mixed people or other Koreans or Mexicans. They're being discriminated against by white supremacy. And yet we have not yet to sit down and say, here's our problem, it's white supremacist terrorists. They're everybody's problem. They're global terrorists. They're a problem for everyone. We should all stand up and fight them. Everyone says, whenever I say we should, band together against white supremacist terrorists, everyone wants to say, oh no, we can't band together with these people. I'm not saying invite a bunch of people to your house and just like have a big dinner and kick it and maybe a sleepover with some popcorn. I'm saying every one of these people should have a common goal. You don't need to talk to each other to have a common goal. Asians should want to end white supremacy. Mexicans should want to end white supremacy. Black people should want to end white supremacy. Indians should want to end white supremacy. It actually should be it's a global problem, so everyone in the entire world should be against white supremacist terrorism. But somehow instead we're all just saying that we can't fight against it together. Like someone's asking you guys to hold hands with these people. It's like if you're all just having the same goal and your focus is ending white supremacy, then you're not thinking about what Asians are doing. And Asians aren't thinking about what black people are doing. We're all worried about ending white supremacy. And as long as we have white supremacy, I don't care how many mixed babies you have or how many interracial marriages you have, white supremacist terrorism is going to continue to reign supreme, and nothing's going to be done about it. Having biracial children is going backwards. It's not helping. It's not something that's going to help us end white supremacy. It's only going to help white supremacy stay strong. I'm gonna try to play the rest of this. I don't know how relevant it is, but I guess we'll just
speak Korean so I could communicate with my parents.
At World Speak, a multilingual immersion school, 80% of the students are of mixed race. The school's founder says children who come from a multi-ethnic background have one big advantage.
They have more empathy.
towards other.
Okay, so did anybody see a problem? I'm gonna go back right there because I just saw a huge problem for me.
From a multi-ethnic backgrounds have
You
one
saw the
big
kids, and then you
advantage.
see this right here, that little white poster with the blonde haired
Have one
chick on
big
it.
advantage.
That is a huge problem. This right here is a huge problem. You didn't see any blonde white kids in that school, so why are they using this to teach kids? This should be burned, taken down, and burned. This is white supremacy right here. It sneaks its little head everywhere, and people don't even notice it. We don't. It's so ingrained in our everyday lives that we don't even notice it. They don't notice that this. I'm glad that I played this whole video, because this is very important. This right here is white supremacy. Okay, it's not a Nazi riding in with a sheet over its head. It's this right here where we're teaching little kids, this is what your hair should look like. This is what your face should. This should never be in there at all. It shouldn't be. This should be an Asian girl or a mixed girl or a Mexican girl. White supremacy right there. We need to notice this stuff.
They have more empathy towards other multiracial and multilingual children. They have more curiosity.
The funny thing is they have more empathy because they are not white. If you take any other race, all other races show that they have empathy except the white race. So yes, it's great she's saying that there's mixed children, they have more empathy, they're more curious. All races have more empathy and are more curious. So you're just adding it to a white supremacist and then saying it has more empathy now. Well, because it's only half white supremacists. I can't.
Towards multiracial differences and acceptance.
Many mixed-race Americans see a growing social acceptance of people of mixed backgrounds.
You know, we went from knowing all, I think, 5 other families that were mixed in the valley to a mixed man being the president. That's an awesome thing.
Compared to the 1970s, when only 1% of children were of mixed race.
Honestly, this is the first time I've even heard of Obama being considered a mixed man. I haven't heard him be referred to as that. But I mean, he is. He's a mixed man. But whenever you see white supremacists spewing hate about him, what is he? He's black. He's always black in the news. To white America, everybody that is mixed is black. So, like, I don't think we should, tell all mixed people, no, you don't get to be black or you're not part of our community. But to purposely go out and try to produce mixed children, for what? It's not beneficial. It's not a good idea. Yes, they're going to deal with the discrimination. Let me finish playing this. It's almost over, but I just want to get on a bit. And so I'm going to finish it really quick.
That number has now grown to 10% nationwide. Elizabeth Lee, VOA News, Los Angeles.
So they're saying, back in before it was legal for black and whites to have unions and have kids, they were only at 1%, and now mixed race children are at 10%. So nothing has been gained in the black community from when they were 1% to 10%. That's a nice big chunk that we can now sit down, look at the numbers, look at where we're at, and anyone can come up with the same conclusion that we're not better off, that we now just have more division in the black community, because that's what this is doing. Having mixed race children is only bringing a divide to the black community. It's benefiting the white community, because now white people can say, well, my great-granddaughter is mixed, so I can't possibly be racist. If we ever, when we get reparations, that little 10% black child will, those are, all the money's going to go right back into the white community. And that's sad, and it's sick, and it's disgusting. And we really, as a black community, need to think about the consequences to our actions. We also need to look at where we're at right now and where we want to be in 10 years. And then what steps do we need to get to where we want to be in 10 years. And I assure you, when we actually look at it and do the math, having biracial children is not going to be on that benefit side. It's going to be on the negative side. And I don't say that in a way that I regret my son. I love my son, and I know that he is going to be a great contributor to the black community. But majority of these children are not raised by black women, and they are not raised by their black fathers. So we really, really, really need to look at that. It doesn't matter if you have a child that's half black that's being raised by a white family. How is that going to benefit the black community? We really need to ask ourselves this. We need to think more. I think that we act and we react a lot, but we don't think. We don't think about the consequences to our actions. We don't think about what we need to do to get to where we want to be, and we don't even think about where we want to be. We kind of just react to what's been thrown at us. We're constantly fighting white supremacy, constantly, on a daily basis, and that takes up a lot of our mental space, and that's done purposely. If you don't think white supremacy has sat down and thought about strategies to keep black people distracted from what we need to be doing, then you're not thinking. They did. They set up a lot of different scenarios, a lot of situations to keep you distracted so that you're not focused on what needs to be done. We really need to sit down and start being focused on what needs to be done. And before you sit there and say, let's go do this and let's go, have a bunch of multiracial kids, sit down and do the math and look at things and say, okay, how is this going to benefit the black community? How is having a biracial child by a white supremacist going to help end white supremacist terrorism? It's not going to. It's not. This is not a trend that we can just do and then not have consequences in the end. The consequences for us are going to be negative. If they're not going, I don't even, a lot of people think that having biracial children is going to help somehow end racism, because you have this mindset as, well, if the mixed kid is the white supremacist family, then they're going to have empathy towards that child. And we all know, we've shown on different videos, I've shown videos, my sister's shown videos, there's tons of different videos out there to show you that those people do not care. They do not regard that child as part of their family. And even if they do, they will say, well, I love this child despite the fact that it is part black. So you are not helping the black community. You are not changing the mindset of these white supremacists. You are not doing that. All you're doing is damaging a child and then causing more harm to your community. So please, this is not, it's not a fad. It's not like wearing bootcut pants or I don't know, buying a new purse. It's not like that. It's not like a fad that you can just, put those bootcut jeans away because they're not cute anymore. You can't do that. So please just stop. Anyways, thank you for watching this video. Please share it, like, comment, and subscribe. And also, if you guys have any other videos that you want me to address or any other topics, please you can just leave a comment. And if it's something that I find interesting or that I find will be beneficial for us to talk about, then I will definitely do a video on it. Thank you guys so much for watching my videos. Thank you for all my subscribers. I really do appreciate you guys. And I really find that it's so important for us to get these messages out there and to really talk about ending white supremacy. And it needs to end. And this is not a good way to do it, though. Thank you.